The Chicago Bulls get a preseason win in Lonzo Ball's return game, a game in which the Chicago Bulls offense looks the best that it has looked all of preseason. We're going to talk about it all, plus Lonzo's return, the Coby White having a big night, all that and more right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bulls Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bulls news and content.
What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. I'm the host here, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Bulls Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into this content for today. And man, listen, there's a lot to break down in this game. And of course, we're going to start off with Lonzo Ball's return. The stat line looks great, right? He was 4-6 from the field for 10 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 block, no turnovers, no fouls. We were +6 when he was on the court. But the thing that more so, you got to watch this game because the stat line doesn't really tell you just how good Lonzo Ball looked out there. He was moving out there both offensively and defensively, keeping his head up. Everything that you wanted to see from Lonzo Ball, you basically got to see in this game. And he looked, I'll go on to say this, right? Of course, with a much smaller sample size, Lonzo Ball basically looked like Lonzo Ball today. And that's what you want to see from him, right? And I did not expect for Lonzo to look this fluid this early on into his return, but you cannot deny that Lonzo Ball didn't seem like he was timid out there, which I think goes a big way into showing how much he did attack his recovery. Because a player to be out of basketball for over 2 years and to come out there and to not back down, right? He went to the rim, he had contact at points and times, he still blocked shots, he stole the ball. He didn't look like he had to trust his leg out there at all. And I think that's a big story for him and how he attacked his recovery, but also how his doctors and that medical staff got him ready. When you heard that Lonzo Ball was going through 5-on-5s for basically ball 2-on-2s, 3-on-3s, then 5-on-5s, like they really ramped him up really well. And you know, we're going to wait and see what we hear from Lonzo as far as how he feels in the morning after getting back there out. He played 15 minutes in this game. We know that his minutes restriction was 16 minutes. But Lonzo, everything that you could possibly want to see from Lonzo in a first game back, he showed a little bit of it all. And that's not hyperbole. For those that watch the game, they'll agree. He showed a little bit of everything that you could possibly want to see from Lonzo Ball. And you got to give credit to that. What Lonzo has done, man, has been great. It's been really great. And, you know, the thing that with Lonzo coming back to this, and I picked a picture on the thumbnail of Lonzo being guarded by 2 players, and he has a smile on his face. A smile on his face. Lonzo was happy to be back out there for his teammates. The vision, the basketball IQ, all that was on mad display for Lonzo today. You just can't take away from any of that. That's what you want to see from Lonzo Ball. And I got to start this show off by saying Lonzo, through 1 game so far, has shown just about a little bit of everything you could possibly want to see. And hats off to Lonzo Ball. Hats off to his recovery. Hats off to what this season could hold for Lonzo Ball. Because I tell you what, if you're bringing Lonzo Ball and how he played today off the bench, I don't care if he plays 50 games. I don't care if he plays 40 games. Of course, hopefully he plays more than that. But if Lonzo Ball, if you're bringing that off your bench and being able to, keep in mind, we didn't get to see him out there with any of the actual bench rotations except Jalen Smith, which he did catch Jalen Smith a couple of times, which Jalen Smith had a solid game as well. But when you pair Io, Jalen, Modest, Julian, Dalen, Torrey Craig, THT, this Bulls team is going to be a deep team. And how successful that depth is going to remain to be seen during the season. But through this game so far, in what this kind of outlines for Lonzo when he's able to get back on, when he's able to play in regular season games, listen, however many games you get from Lonzo, you're going to get a player that's going to go out there, attack it, and make the players around him better when he's on the court. And that's all you can ask for Lonzo Ball. So shout out to Lonzo Ball. I know I'm about 5 minutes into this video, and I've only talked about Lonzo so far, but that's just how impressed I was with Lonzo being out of the game for 2 years and being able to put up a game like this. Shout out to Lonzo Ball. But there are still other positives to take away from this. The starting lineup today looked the best that they've looked in playing together. And I love how they spread out the ball. Somebody said in the halftime hangout that Coby needed more touches. He needed more shots, basically. Coby White took 9 shots today and got 23 points. Let me say that again. 9 shots and got 23 points. He was 5 of 7 from three-point range. He got to the free throw line 6 times. He also chipped in 4 assists, 2 steals, 3 turnovers. We'll take a look at that, but 23 points from Coby White in this, and he led the team in scoring, right? And so the way that this Bulls team moved the ball around today, it highlighted the fact of what this offense can look like if everybody gets in rhythm and does what they need to do. We saw more movement off the ball from the Chicago Bulls today in this one game than what we saw in 40 games last season combined. And again, if you watch this game, you will know that's not hyperbole at all. The way that this team was intentionally moving without the ball, with a purpose, when they cut, when they came off screens, all that type of thing, it created so much discombobulation for that Minnesota Timberwolves defense that's how this Bulls team can be effective with their parts. And Josh Giddey made 1 shot today. He was 1 of 11 from the field, but he had 9 assists, 3 rebounds in this, 3 blocks as well from Josh Giddey. And listen, this is how, again, Josh Giddey makes the other players around him better, because if you have everybody scoring in that, you don't need Josh Giddey to score a lot of points. Now, he needs to shoot the ball better than this. Make no mistake about that. You can't go 1 for 11 and be a starting point. We need more from you than that. But everybody got their shots. Patrick Williams, 8 shots. Now, he didn't get any shots in the second half of this game. He played 26 minutes. Again, a little bit of concern there for not taking any second half shots, but they went with the hot hand. Patrick Williams, 12 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist in this game. Patrick Williams, aggressive. 2 for 4 from three-point range. Again, 12 points, 6 rebounds. I'll take that from Patrick Williams being the 5th option on offense. But then you look at Coby White, we already talked about with his 9 shots. Vooch, 7 of 13, 17 points, 12 rebounds, 3 steals from Nikola Vucevic, who was getting this was the most engaged I've seen Nikola Vucevic ever. Let me not say that ever is not a fair statement, but in a while, right? And then Zach LaVine, 5 of 11 with 19 points, 7 of 7 from free throw range. The Bulls team overall in this game, we talked about the last game, the Bulls took 54, I think, 3-point shots, and that's not how much you want them to take. They took 41 3-point shots today and hit it at a 43% clip. I don't know who this team is. This is the offense that Billy Donovan and AK have talked about for so long, and we saw it. And keep in mind, we didn't even have our main bench pieces in this game. And imagine the pressure and the activity and all those things that can come back when you get those other players that are going to push the pace, that are going to be disruptors as far as getting steals and getting out in transition. Listen, and this was against a Minnesota Timberwolves team as well that played their starters just as much as the Bulls played their starters, right? So it wasn't one of those games where you can look at it and say, yeah, I mean, you still got the caveat of it being preseason. Nothing changes that. You're always going to have that caveat of it being preseason. But it's more, what did I say before? It's about the method. It's about what the work, the process, right? The process that you're putting in. It's not just necessarily about the result, but it's about the process. And the process that the Bulls used today to get everybody involved, to spread the ball out, to take advantage of the defense by movement off the ball. This is what I've been asking for from this team for 3 years of me doing this show. 3 years of me doing this show. This is exactly what I have been asking for the Chicago Bulls to do. And it's really good to see them doing in this way. And then let's also look at some of the advanced things with this team. This team was so efficient today because they were being intentional about how they operated on both sides of the ball. The Chicago Bulls come away with this with the offensive rating of 115. I looked it up. You know how many games the Bulls had of an offensive rating this high over the last 2 years? 12. 12 out of 164 games, 12 of them. They shot the ball. They had a true shooting percentage as a team of 61%. It was 69% in the first half, so it came down a little bit, but we played more of the bench unit in the second half of this game, and we had an efficiency rating of 161. Again, caveat, preseason. But if this was a regular season game, the Bulls have not had an offensive efficiency number that high in 2 years. This team, and they had a defensive rating of 110. Keep in mind, 110 is the average defensive rating. We know that we don't have an elite defense anymore. If you can pair that offensive rating, that efficiency offensively with average defense, if you can just play average defense, and keep in mind, no Ayo Dosunmu in this game, no Julian Phillips in this game, no Dalen Terry in this game, all guys that add to the defense of the Chicago Bulls. I tell you what, if we see a fraction of this, and I'm saying that if the Bulls team can play at this level with everybody healthy, I mean, not this level, if they can play at 80% of this level throughout the majority of the season with everybody healthy, the Bulls may very well, those people who said that the Bulls could win 38, 39 games, you may fucking well be right. And I may have been wrong in me saying, like, again, it's all preseason. This time next week, we'll see a regular season game for the Bulls, and that's where we can take in more of the information. But what the Bulls did today stylistically, and that's the thing I keep going back to. Stylistically, what the Bulls ran today, it was special. I don't know who this team is. I don't know who Billy Donovan is coaching this team this way. I don't know what I could say about this team today to really drill home the point that this was an actual different team. And there's still players that I haven't talked about in this game as well that played big for the Chicago Bulls. You got to look at Taylor Horton-Tucker. At this point, if there's any questions on THT getting the final roster spot, let's put those to bed right now. Taylor Horton-Tucker needs to get that final roster spot for the Bulls. I saw it. I wanted to see it for Ernest Batum, but at this like, you can't deny results. 7 of 15 from the field, 17 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds. What more do you want from a bench role player? He's bringing everything that you could possibly want. Jalen Smith, 10 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal coming off the bench. And the fact that what is going to help maximize Jalen Smith on this team is that Jalen Smith may never have to dribble the ball. There's so many ball handlers that are going to be able to get Jalen Smith the ball and put him in a proper position with bounce passes, with lobs. We may not have to see Jalen Smith ever dribble a basketball. And I know that's a bit of an exaggeration, but man, I tell you what, I walked away from this game so impressive. Even the ball-headed Ho hit a clutch shot for the Bulls to help seal the victory. What is this team? What is this team? I don't know what it is, man, but yeah, it's crazy. Oh, camera refresh. I'm sorry, I've been going off. Camera. I don't know what's going on. I may have to switch from Restream. Restreams have been really letting me down here recently, and I'm really frustrated at that because why you got to act like a bald-headed hoe? But yeah, let's get back up to the comment I wanted to get into if it's still there. I'm going to try to pin your guys' super chats as well, fellas, and ladies, if any of the ladies left the super chat. But yeah, Zoe did so well today. Absolutely. Absolutely. I like what I saw from the entire team today. THT is getting that 15 spot for sure. Oh, facts. At this point, absolutely. Absolutely. RJ Max Haize, you're looking up. Oh, yeah, I had to refresh. I wasn't paying attention to the chat. I was busy talking, so I apologize for that. Pat looked like a competent NBA player. That's a fact. It was crazy how good he looked. Wild how good he looked. Hayes will see the comments. Yeah, I didn't see it. I wasn't looking at the comments. I was too busy talking. I had so much to say about this game. I wasn't even looking at the comments. I won $260 off a $4 bet, so I'm giving back to the best Bulls channel out there. Also, shout out to old bald ass Javon for the last shot. Well, thank you for that. Thank you for supporting the channel, my brother. Thank you for supporting it. I can tell you're excited about this season, the past 2 years, more than just Lonzo's return, because something about this team, they showed even in preseason, feels different. They may surprise people. That's a fact. They definitely may surprise people. Lonzo was out for almost 3 years and is better than Ben. Oh, yeah. I mean, it doesn't take much to be better than Ben Simmons because Ben Simmons is absolute garbage. Absolute garbage. I know it's just a game, but does this reset how we think about AK's team building skills? I can't believe the depth of the team. Well, we got to see it in the regular season, right? We got to see it in the regular season. And if we do, then maybe we do got to. And like I said before, we may also have to reset how we talk about AK and his draft history as well, with Julian Phillips and Dalen Terry stepping up. Vooch was even hustling on defense. Boy, my eyes couldn't believe that shit. I mean, I couldn't believe it either. I could not believe it either, man. Elite defense anymore. We don't have an elite defense since Tom Thibodeau. Well, no, what are you talking about? We had a top 5 defense 2 years ago. I'm sorry, top 5 defense is an elite defense. Sorry, yeah, we've had an elite defense. THC could start. No, THC cannot. Come on now, you got to stop smoking dope. Stop smoking dope. Would you hate seeing Giddey and Zoe on the floor at the same time? We saw some of that today. Not a lot of it, but we did see some of it today. Which players on the active roster do you think will be in the G League? Well, nobody on the active roster will be in the G League, but it's going to be Kenny Lofton Jr. It's going to be EJ Liddell, most likely. Those are going to be your guys on the G League. Is the camera still blurry, y'all? Or did it fix? I refreshed. Did it not fix? Hold on, let me go look. I'm excited, y'all. Like, listen, as somebody who likes the game, who loves the game of basketball, this team played today. Man, it was something special. It was really something special today. Okay, yeah, it's not blurry anymore. Thank God. We covered up Vooch's defense before. Could this team defense also cover it up? Well, here's the thing. We covered up Vooch's bad defense before because we were able to have people who were able to stop the ball. We were able to get deflections, get steals, play that tough perimeter defense. But I don't know if this team has that at this point. I don't know if they have it. So, we'll see what happens with that. Let's not be fooled. This is how young teams play, not consistently. This is a 40-win team unless we make some moves. Listen, I won't assume that, but this isn't just how young teams play. Sorry, it's not. Did the Detroit Pistons play this way last year? No, they didn't. So you can't just, and we're not that type of young team. We still got Zach. We still got Vooch. Kobe's a 5 or in year 6 now, right? Right. So you can't, this isn't that type of young team. It'd be different if everybody was second and third year players, but this isn't that type of team. Coby White is a killer, man. I'm so proud seeing him developing it. Listen, well, Coby White was, and the one thing, right? Well, not one, the one thing, but one of the things that I talked about Coby and how he was going to have to get better, especially being kind of a lead scorer, right? Is that he was going to have to get to the free throw line better. And he did that tonight. 6 of 6 from the free throw line on 9 shots, right? That's really good efficiency there. Now, we got to see if it's going to be able to happen in the regular season. Officiating in the postseason can be a little bit different as well. So there's that aspect of things for sure. But I think ultimately when you look at Coby White, and let me see, how often did he get to the free throw line so far this preseason? So in his first 2 games, he got to the free throw line 6 times each one of those games. Listen, if Coby White gets to the free throw line 4 to 6 times a game, that's really, really good for Coby White. That'd be really good for Coby White. Really good for Coby White. You did a vid about your roster and bench construction suggestions. Yeah, I did, but that was kind of before even media. Maybe it was right after media day. But we'll get something again to the extent of right before the season. Haize, to what extent did the fall of Constantinople affect the Chicago Bulls winning night? Greatly, because I think if you look through the Pythagorean theorem as well as the quantum realm theory, that the fall of Constantinople, that through when it falls through the quantum realm and comes out on the other side, because we know time moves differently in the quantum realm. When you came out of that, plus when you go through Loki's scepter, as now he is the god of time, I think when you look at those things, it definitely affected the Chicago Bulls because they knew when Constantinople fell that Coby White was going to be born, and it kind of right now it's in Kobe's hair. So therefore, through the quantum realm theory, it really all played a part in getting us to this point in Coby White developing into the player that he is. Yeah, definitely a thing there. So the thing nobody is talking about is when Josh and Zoe's on the court together. All Giddey has to do is find Zoe spotting up, with Zoe still showing he can hit the 3 and high clip. I think so. Yeah, I think what it does between either one of those guys on who has the ball, right? So if you have Lonzo Ball on the court and Josh Giddey on the court together, everybody else just needs to cut, slash, and come off screens. If Lonzo has the ball, Josh Giddey's ability to cut to the rim is really good. If Giddey has the ball, like you said, have Zoe come off a screen, come off a pin down, Giddey can catch him. It could definitely work out. It can definitely work out. Zoe looks like he's back. Even defensively, he looks decent. I mean, yeah. Yeah, now, of course, we got to see if he's going to be able to bring that game to game, right? And so we'll see. Like, and, you know, Billy Donovan talked about it, but I'll tell you what, usually you see players be a little timid when they first come back from being out even half as long as what Zoe was out. Zoe showed no fear today. No fear at all. Lonzo Ball was out there trying to play. He was trying to play just like Lonzo Ball. So KC just tweeted that something. Well, listen, y'all, you know, when news drops, I drop. So if people get cut tonight, I will be live tonight. I don't sleep, so it is what it is. The next superhero backstory. Listen. I can go off the cuff. That ain't nothing. Zoe is now marked in history as one of the guys to ever come back from an injury. He is not one of the guys. He's the first guy. It's not one of. He is the first one. He's the first one. The first one. Now, here's the real question. Does Coby have Mamba mentality? I mean, Mamba mentality, I think only 5% of people in life have Mamba mentality, but I do think Coby has a great mentality and killer instinct when it comes to playing the game of basketball. Let's not forget about Adama. Put the other A on that man's name, Sanogo as well. I was impressed with him too. It's a lot of guys on this team, except Duarte, play like they want to win for Chicago and have something to prove. Listen, Chris Duarte, he had one game. I had to give it to him. He had that one game. He looked pretty good in. He shot 50% from the field. He shot like 0 for 4 in the second half of this game. But Chris Duarte again, yeah, he was Chris Duarte. Lunchley? What the hell is Lunchley? You trying to sell me some cocaine? What are we talking about? THC is a flat out beast. He's solid. He's a really, really good role player. Next game will tell us a lot about Zoe's minutes next game. Yes, I completely agree with that. Is it about to be free Batum, but not in a good way? THC earned that spot. That's a fact. That's 100% fact. Why are you sniffing my light, bro? Why is my light ain't bothering you? I love you too. You want a hug? You good? You can't lay on my lap while I'm podcasting. Go ahead. Come on. All right. Man, I damn near forgot how freaking amazing Lonzo is and help defense, bro. Can't wait to see what he looks like next to Io and D. Ooh, that's going to be nasty because how Io has rounded out as a. Why are you being such a baby right now? You okay? Did something happen? I'm trying to talk about the Bulls. You bear. Loki, go lay down. Go lay down. Go lay down on your bed. Go lay down. I'll come hug you later. But yeah, how Io's turned into a defender next to Lonzo, that's gonna be fun to see. Definitely gonna be fun to see. Lunchables, Logie Paul knock off Lunchables. Oh, why would I want to knock off Lunchable? What making a knockoff Lunchable is weird. That's like making knockoff Velveeta. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing with like this is why Americans don't eat. Their insides are like mush. Lonzo is still a game changer. It was almost like everyone's level of play increased when he was on the floor. Watching him play again is like a home cooked meal, man. Hey, it was great to see. It was really fun and great to see. List the 5 starters as you see the team now. I mean, we know the starters. The starters aren't going to change. Preseason isn't going to change the starters. It's still going to be Josh Giddey, Coby White, Zach LaVine, Patrick Williams, and Nikola Vucevic. Those are going to be your starters. They look like they're playing so free this preseason. There's so much space on the floor. It seemed like DeMar was 8 feet wide on offense every time the Bulls set up in half court. Yeah, for sure. What are you doing? You really just waited. Come on. Just come on. Thank you. Jesus Christ. Lord have mercy. But Tim, look at how he's looking up at me. You see that? Just a brat. He's just a big ass kid. This 160-pound kid. Anyway, if Batum's going to be down in the G League since he's not going to get that roster spot, or is he going to go back to Turkey? Well, I don't know. He could very well go back to Turkey. I mean, the Bulls may offer him one of the two-way spots, but who's to say he's guaranteed to take it? So we don't know. Zoe looks healthy. This Coby is different. Buckle up, fans, and get ready for a fun ride. It definitely could be fun. Definitely could be a fun season ahead. With the performance of Zoe this game, what do you think will be the rotations when Zoe is playing, and the rotation will be when Zoe is not playing? THT got big minutes today. He will replace Zoe. Well, no, keep in mind. So THT, I get it, and I talked about this in the halftime hangout. THT has played great, but you have to ask yourself this. We know who the starting five is. We know he's not going to play any above those guys. Is THT going to play above Ayo Dosunmu? No. Is he going to play before Jalen Smith? No. Is he going to play before Modest Bucilis? Maybe when you need to make sure that if Modest Bucilis isn't bringing it, he's in shooting well. Maybe when he isn't playing really good defense, you play him above that. But then again, is he above Julian Phillips? Julian Phillips has had the best preseason of any Chicago Bull, even better than THT. So Billy Donovan typically goes 8 to 9 deep with a 10th man as a guy that plays inconsistently. The way that I look at it is THT is probably going to be this team's Derrick Jones Jr., meaning that you remember how we would see Derrick Jones Jr. for 4 games, then we may not see him for 2. We see Derrick Jones Jr. for 3 games and then not see him for 5. Or if he did play over those 5, it was like 8 minutes. So I just don't think that THT is going to play a whole lot of minutes, even with how good he's played, because I think other guys are still better than him. But we'll see. We'll see. Haize, will you be able to play next game due to injury? No, I'm not. I don't think they want 5'10" Haize out there playing power forward. I don't think that that's what they want out there. Every player on this team, 1 to 15, can contribute. Yeah, but I mean, no team goes 15 deep consistently. No team really goes 10 deep consistently. That just doesn't happen, right? So, you got to look at that as well. If they run instead of a slow game, they could be a good team. I love the pace, need to rebound more, but great game. The rebounding, I mean, we're not going to be what we were before, because DeMar DeRozan, say what you will about DeMar, he did get his a nice share of rebounds. So, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. TC is a good guy to have on the team, no downside. Facts. And that's what you want on the back end of your bench. That's what you want on the back end of the bench. What type of dog is he's Loki's an Akita. He's a full-blooded, 100% American Akita. They're asking what breed you are. And so Akitas are really good dogs because they only recognize one owner, and they're extremely loyal and they're protective. So he's a really good dog. He's a sweet baby. Ain't touch my sweet baby. You gonna go outside? Go outside? Go outside? All right, I'll take you outside when I'm done. I got you. Super Duper Danko says the fact that we have THT as a legit role player makes it means a lot. If you ask me, that encourages both starter and bench to play harder and better. I mean, yeah, you always want that spirit of competition. So for sure. 5'10" Haize, knowing Billy, you're playing center. Probably, definitely, probably. Great dub. Bull, see red if you can. Yep, we'll see. THC has earned that. Yeah, he's like at this point, like you guys know, I wasn't the biggest THT guy coming into this preseason, but you can't deny THT has performed really well. You just can't deny the performance that THT has given over the course of this preseason. And if you want a guy that you don't have to worry about on the back end of your, like, that's what it is. You don't have to worry about, is he a perfect player? Hell no, right? Like, nobody's going to say that. Well, some people may say that, but he may be a perfect role player. And that may be exactly what you need from THT. And so I'm not mad at that. When you look at it, so THT's performances over preseason. The first game, 17 minutes, 8 points. Okay, it was cool. He was 4 of 11. 16 points, 15 points, 17 points. Shooting the ball fairly efficiently as well. Yeah, and 40% from 3. THT is on this team. It just is what it is. THT is going to make this team, and I'm not mad at it. You notice how many times they miss Giddey cutting to the rim? They got to pay more attention to guys moving off the ball, even though they did it much better today. And, that is one of the downsides of the Bulls just not being a good off-ball team the last few years. They haven't had to play like that. So, we'll see how that comes. I'm going to take you outside. Why are you acting like? Why are you being a brat? Hypothetically, if the Bulls were full and make the playoffs, I like how deep the bench can go for when them starter boys get fatigued. Facts. And that's another thing, right? Maybe not playing players so much to where they get fatigued so you can maximize on the health, right? This Bulls team has had a lot of issues with health over the last few years. Having a deep roster, and keep in mind, the thing that I like so much about this Bulls roster is most, not all of them, but most of these players can play 2 or 3 positions. Let's look at the bench. Io can play the 1, 2, or the 3. Modest Busilis can play the 3 or the 4. Jalen Smith can play the 4 or the 5, right? Julian Phillips can play the 3 or the 4. Dalen Terry can play the 2, the 3. Yeah, I don't want to see him play no 4. THT can play the 2 or the 3, right? You got deep players all up and down this bench. Lonzo can play the 1 or the 2, maybe even some 3. And that's not even to say what those players can guard, because Io can guard 1 through 4 depending on the size of the 4, right? Julian Phillips can guard 1 through 4 depending on how quick the 1 is. So you offer yourselves a lot of versatility defensively for this Bulls team, and I like that a lot as well. Versatility is the key to the game when you're looking at bench production, and the Bulls have a lot of versatility that they can bring off that bench for sure. So, you got to see what's going to come. Haize, when is your final debate battle on the show? Oh, we had that. I didn't make it to the final round. The finals already happened. I lost to Mars, unfortunately. If Julian's shot keeps being consistent, him and Zoe are going to be deadly and create a lot of space on the bench. It's definitely a possibility for that as well. Nice to have a strong bench. Helps to motivate the starters. That's a fact. I love this squad. They may be one of them ones, Haize. Well, to be one of them ones, you got to be a damn near championship caliber team for me personally. So I'm not going to say they one of them ones, but they definitely can be a fun team. I'm not mad at that at all. So when P. Will gets back to his December form, the team is going to be very interested. Listen, if P. Will can be December 2023 P. Will for a full season, yeah, definitely. Our tempo should be the pedal to the metal, especially with Io on the floor. I don't disagree with you, brother. Don't disagree with you at all. This feels like old baby Bulls a little. Oh, you know what? I don't hate that. I don't hate that at all. I don't hate that. DeMar's looking good with D-Fox too. Yeah, for sure. And I hope that they work. Listen, no ill will towards DeMar DeRozan at all. We needed to make a move. We needed the move that we made. It just is what it is. And so, the Bulls made that, and rightfully so, in my opinion. And this is now where we find ourselves. So talk about Zach, please. I already talked about Zach. What do you mean? I talked about Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine played great tonight. And Zach LaVine's really played and fit within the role. And got to give it credit. Zach LaVine and Nikola Vucevic were more engaged consistently this game than what I've seen them for a while. So, that's really good to see. Does THC make Torrey expendable? No, because they play very different positions. But that's that. And that's not to say that Torrey Craig is probably going to be moved regardless. If the Bulls are smart and they get an offer of a second round or multiple second round pick, basically, if a championship caliber team comes calling like they did for Andre Drummond last year, the Bulls better very well move Torrey Craig for those 2 second round picks. Let's get into these super chats I missed. From Prince says, we're gonna straight, but Coby needs more touch. Oh, I already read that one earlier. I won $260 off a $4 bet, so I'm giving back to the best Bulls. Oh, I already read this one too. Lonzo was out for almost 3 years and is already better. I read all these. Why did I think I didn't read the super chats? All right, I guess I did read the super chats. Listen, I'm old. It is what it is there. T. Craig ain't bad. He steps in without complaint and will sit out without complaint. Yeah, facts. Like, I'm not saying he's bad, but I think that if a team like the Philadelphia 76ers or a team needs some wing defense that's a actual championship team, and they call the Bulls and they say, hey, Torrey Craig's expiring. We got a second round pick to burn. We want Torrey Craig. Let's get that done. I think the Bulls should take that deal, in my personal opinion. Everyone shout out Forrest, Julian's cousin in the building. Hey, he's been Julian Phillips' cousin has been supporting both this and Locked on Bulls. I don't see a comment from you right now, my boy, but thank you for your support, man. I really appreciate you there. If P-Will gets into December form plus a little more and Giddey gets a 3, that would be, listen, the 3R defense. 3R defense. Great game tonight. They look really good tonight, but hold the line. We must keep our pick. Listen, I don't know if that's going to happen, bro. I don't know if that's going to happen. I'm just going to be 100% honest with you. You read the super chats already because I couldn't remember. I just didn't want to forget them. I was pretty upset that the Bulls got rid of Andre Drummond because he was the best rebounder ever. I love the energy from that man, don't you? Yeah, but you got to move on at some point. You got to move on at some point. Will the Bulls game manage Lonzo all year, or will they let him loose after the All-Star break, bearing he looks good? I don't know, right? I think I talked about it before, I think on the pregame show, and I think the thing that they may do with Lonzo, and this is just speculation for me, no inside information, nothing like that, so please don't take this as like gospel, but I think what the Bulls may do is that the first month to 6 weeks of the season, they may say you're on a 16-minute restriction, you're not playing back-to-backs. The second month of the season, they may say, all right, you did good with the 16 minutes. You haven't had any major setbacks. We're going to take that 16 minutes restriction and turn that into 18 minutes. That may stay for another month. Then they may say, all right, you played 18 minutes, still no back-to-backs. Now you can play back-to-backs. Let's see how you respond to that. And then gradually by the end of the season, we could see Lonzo at 20 to 22 minutes, right? So that could be how they want to ramp him up when it comes down to the minutes. So can Jalen fill Drummond's role because he was huge last couple of years? Yes, but in a different way. Jalen is a really good per minute productive player. He also has more offensive versatility than Andre Drummond. Not as good as an on-ball defender as Drum. But he, like I said, he can be very productive as a backup big, but in a different way. So if you're looking for him to do exactly what Drummond did, he's not going to do that. But he can be very productive in his own way. So Forrest Phillips, there he goes. Says, appreciate the shout out. I just came across these podcasts last week. This is definitely new to me. Well, we appreciate you, brother, for supporting us. And if you can't tell, Bulls fans love you, cousin. Julian Phillips has had such a great preseason. I hope you guys are supporting him as well. I don't know if you're in Chicago with him or not, or supporting him from back home, but I speak for most of the Bulls community, not all, but I think we are really looking forward to what Julian brings this season, and the way that he's grown his game from his rookie year to his second year so far in preseason. That's exactly what we wanted to see from him. And I think he has a chance to really help make this team really good this year. I really do think that. And that's just not because you're in the chat. I believe that for sure. Yeah, Forrest, I discovered Haize after the loss to the Heat. Coby Drum didn't finish the game, needed an outlet, and this community is great. We have a great community here. Great community. Just joined. Is there any possibility of Lonzo starting at any point this season? To be honest, starters look better with him out there. Listen, I learned to never say never, but it won't be while he's on a minutes restriction and while he's not playing back-to-backs. You just need stability in that starting lineup. And so that's the biggest reasons against, but never say never. It's the only thing I can say there. And we'll see how the season develops. We'll see how that season develops for the Bulls. But all right, y'all, I got to get ready to go do Locked On Bulls, and I'm tired. And it's 11 o'clock Eastern time. So, yeah, I got to get ready to go do Locked On Bulls, man. I want to thank you guys, as always, for being the best the best fan base for the not Chicago Bulls fans. We don't have fans, we have family, but being the best fan base, for being the best community here that we're building here with Chicago Bulls Central, man. And I appreciate you guys so much for everything that you guys have continued to bring to this. We have a goal of trying to get to 30,000 subscribers this season. It's a lofty goal. We're about 9,500 away. So if you guys aren't subscribed to the channel, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. In exchange for that, I'm giving the best daily Chicago Bulls content. We're at 1,229 straight days of content here with Chicago Bulls Central. We're going to deliver you podcast episodes every single day. So make sure you guys are following the show. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, bullcentralpod@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We're the number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related, but that's thanks to you guys. And like I like to end every episode on, go Bulls. Love you guys. See red if you can, y'all. And if you guys want to catch me, I'll be over on Locked on Bulls here in the next 5 or 10 minutes. Go Bulls, see red. Peace, y'all.
Of the Break Media.